let's see if I can make it through this. 1, I don't actually have much time. 2, I woke up sneezing and sniffling like I have a cold, but once I step outside my house, I'm fine. So I have no idea what's going on. I tried to make myself look normal, and we'll see how long it lasts because these are my constant companion today. None of this really matters because this book is not gonna take any time at all. It is literally a copy and paste of its predecessor. Silent Night 2 by R.L. Stine. I told you in the first video, these books are really just on this list because they're Christmas, and I know I like to save my favorite books for December and February, but I didn't read very many good books. I'm ready for 2024. This has been not my best year. Anyways, if you haven't watched the first video, you're really gonna have to because there's not much to say about this one. Any character arc that Reva may have had, and I say may very lightly because she had no character arc in the first novel. She is a snooty, snobby, mean girl who cares about nobody but herself. And then at the very end, she kind of has that she come to Jesus moment where it's like, oh my gosh, nobody cares about me. And like, now that I'm in danger and I've escaped from danger, I'm going to be a better person. That's it. And we get the sense that yes, she will be nicer to her cousin Pam, and perhaps she gets back together with her boyfriend Hank. No, she's still a snooty, snobby, mean girl. And I just expect far more from R.L. Stine. In this novel, we start off with, yes, Reva is still a crappy person, and she's really just upset that her dad made her work over the holidays rather than letting her go to the beach. At least Stine was smart enough this time to get rid of the little brother. He didn't even warn a mention in my last video, and the only purpose he served was just to emphasize how crappy of a person Reva is that she can't even give her brother time. He is off with some other friend's family in St. Croix, which at first I was like, well, why can't she go with her brother? Until I learned that he was on vacation with his friends. Like, his friends don't want his bratty big sister to be there. Her dad thinks it's a good idea for her to return to Dalby's and work at the perfume counter again. And although this time she also has a stock shift, he thinks that it is a good opportunity for her to overcome her fear from the prior novel in which she had been mean to by other people and they tried to do bad things to her. In this novel, after we find out that she's still a snotty person, we get into the perspectives of these two characters named Diane and Prez. His name's not actually Prez, but she thinks he looks like Elvis Presley, so she calls him Prez. She's like a 17-year-old who just graduated from high school. He's like 18 or 19, and we learned for absolutely no reason that he's been estranged from his family for the last 2 years. And I guess that information just serves to let us know how broke he is. He has just been fired from Dalby's for shoplifting. He thieved and he got caught, and now he is in a snit. Diane, she's always joked or talked about committing a crime. This time, now that he has no job and she has no job and they have like $5 left to their names, he realizes she's not joking. She is serious, and they plan on kidnapping Reva. 80% of this novel is given to poor planning and even poorer execution of kidnapping Reva. We only actually get the act in like the last 20 pages. And I think I'm being generous with that too. We have the back and forth between Reva being crappy to everyone around her. We do see Pam again. In this novel, Pam is dating this guy named Victor. Reva is like, who is that hunka burning love? And she makes it her mission to steal Victor away from Pam because Pam doesn't deserve someone like Victor. Basically, the whole time she and Victor are sneaking around, whereas Pam is like, oh my gosh, Reva, I think this is it. I'm in love with this guy. And Reva's like, huh. Obviously, he doesn't feel the same way, and I've won, which is her goal. goal in life, is just to outdo everybody around her. Her dad is yet another non-existent parent figure. We see him, but only because he's daddy and not because he's dad. And I was over it. She also has a new car. She had a Volvo in the last book. She has a Miata in this book. There's no real purpose to that except just to say, well, she's a rich girl, and if she wants a new car, she's gonna get a new car. That is the plot until Prez and Diane start to enact their plan of action. The first thing they tried to do is they've been scoping her out. They've been checking out her schedule. They kind of know the layout of her house. The first idea is to kidnap her from her bed. Wouldn't you know it? That one morning, she goes to work with her dad. So their second attempt is to kidnap her from the store because they know that she gets there at a certain time. There's a door nearby that they can just grab her and go. But this time around, they have enlisted Prez's brother, Danny. And Danny is a psycho. He's a couple years older than them, and there is a big deal made about his poor physique. I guess he is mentally unstable and it's all supposed to work together. These books are just so depthless, it's painful. When that goes wrong because she has gotten to work late, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for a character arc from Reva, and she never changes. She never learns from her ways. Everything she did in the first novel to her coworkers, all the ways she treated people, exact same in this novel. Their third attempt is to just grab her from the stockroom. Well, that goes awry because wouldn't you know it, she trades shifts with Pam. So this is a little bit of a spoiler. I probably should have gone into it a little bit different. But she gets Pam to take her shift so she can get Victor to cheat on Pam. Danny has no idea what Reva looks like unless, like, I started skimming, guys, because there was no substance in this novel. There was nothing nuanced in this novel. So it's possible that maybe Pam did change her hair color to red. In any case, Prez is in the stockroom. He accidentally kidnaps Pam, and they give Mr. Dalby a call. And they're like, we've got your daughter, and it's gonna cost you $1 million to get her back. He's like, no you don't. My daughter's right here, and I'm not paying your ransom. They eventually let Pam go, like, the next day. They don't even, and meanwhile, Prez is in jail because he got into a brawl with somebody else. So this is why they grabbed the wrong girl, was because Prez wasn't there and Danny had no idea what he was doing. And this entire time, what we get from Danny is, oh, I'm gonna lose it. You better not let me lose it because I'm gonna kill her. Because he's mentally unstable. Anyways, so yes, cut to Pam coming home and she's like, my uncle wasn't even gonna pay my ransom. Like, he cares so little about me. And this is when I needed more about Reva's dad. I know she doesn't get along with Pam, and I know there's a huge discrepancy, like financial discrepancy between him and his brother's family. But I don't know if he's a selfish person. I don't know if he's a nice person. I don't know if he's a good-hearted person. I don't know what his relationship with his brother and his brother's family is. So fast forward a little bit, and Pam's like, hey, Reva, why don't you come on over? Well, first, Reva has let it slip that she knows that Victor has canceled on more than just the one date Pam had called to tell her about. So fast forward, Pam's like, hey, Reva, do you want to come over to the house to help us, like, decorate, trim the tree, do all that stuff? And Reva's like, not really, but I guess I will. She pops over to Pam's only to get kidnapped. So both she and Pam get kidnapped. The trio, I don't know how Prez got out of jail because they spent their last $5 at McDonald's or something. So maybe it was like a 24-hour hold due to the brawl. I don't know. In any case, they kidnap the girls and they are smart enough to reveal not only their names, but their faces. Take them to Dalby's because, I don't know, I guess they're like, we can leave these girls here and eventually after we get our ransom, they'll be found. We don't have to do anything about it. Yeah, so at this point, spoiler, we learned that Pam was in on it because she was so pissed about not only the fact that Reva was cheating with her boyfriend, but also that her uncle didn't even think she was worth a ransom. Now the trio is out like discussing their great plan, and they've called Mr. Dalby. And did I mention that somebody has been following Reva? A dude in like dark glasses and a dark overcoat, super suspicious. But important, sort of, for the end of the book. This is when Reva has learned that Pam was in on it. The trio has betrayed Pam and is not going to let her go. And then this is when Pam tells Reva, I didn't even need money to betray you. And that's when I'm like, you know what? You go, Pam. But this is also a copy and paste because she did the same thing in the first novel. She was so mad at Reva for something that she was like, I'm gonna pay her back. So again, like there's nothing new about this novel, from the plot to the characters' actions to the characters themselves. The only new thing is the names of the characters and the fact that Reva's brother is no longer in the picture. Then Danny backhands her. Well, first, he's already broken Reva's arm, and then he backhands Pam. And when she comes back from this, she's all repentant. She's able to get out of her bindings, and she gets Reva out of hers, and the best they can come up with is basically to stand next to the door so that when the trio comes back, they'll run past them. R.L. Stine, like what is going on here? You're better than this. It works, and then all of a sudden, the mysterious guy in the glasses and the trench coat shows up, and he's from the FBI. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, because here's the thing. The first plan was foiled because Reva was not at the house, but we hear nothing once we get into her perspective. Nothing from her, nothing from her dad about the fact that their house was broken into. And then after the second plan is foiled, we get nothing except for Reva being like, oh, that was weird. Nothing about the fact that, oh my gosh, now there are 2 instances. After the third attempt, there's nothing, even though there was, again, something having to do with Reva and a ransom was involved. So nobody in her inner circle is talking about how suspicious all of this is and that maybe they should do something about it. But apparently they have done something about it, and when the kidnappers called the house, this is the very forefront of caller ID, the FBI was able to track them down to Dalby's. Again, really poor plotting and execution. I know it's a slim book, and I know that it's not necessarily supposed to be a complicated book, but R.L. Stine has more talent than he is showing in this novel. Diane and Prez run away, and the FBI follow them. I guess not realizing that Danny is involved, so then Danny shows up. Pam and Reva are trying to get away from him, and he ends up falling down an elevator shaft because this whole novel there's foreshadowing that the employee elevators are broken. Prez and Diane use the elevator and it worked. But in Reva's mind, they have fallen to their death only for them to show up, and she's like, yeah, guess they didn't do that. When Danny comes after them, he falls down the shaft, and it's that sickening crunch and the scream and blah, blah, blah. And all is well and good. When they are recovered, Victor comes running. When he then goes to Pam, Reva's like, I'm glad he did that. Do we have a resolution? Do we have a character arc? Absolutely not. It ends the same exact way as its predecessor, and I do not expect much from Silent Night 3, but maybe I'll be surprised. Who knows? But that's the novel, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Bye.